My name is Wong. I used to be someone else, but I woke up in this body after the original owner died from exhaustion. Now, I am a servant son in the wealthy Li family, stuck in a dangerous game with a powerful noble woman. To change my fate and escape her relentless demands, I decided to become a martial artist. I have a secret advantage, a magical panel that ensures my hard work always brings success. I spent weeks saving every bit of silver for my training. When I finally returned home with enough money to start my lessons, I found my house full of greedy relatives. My lazy grandfather had stolen all my savings, 80 taels of silver, along with my parents' life earnings, just to buy himself a useless title as a village head. When I confronted him, he slapped me and called me ungrateful. Even my father, a cowardly man, told me to give up my dreams and accept a life of servitude. I didn't back down. I kicked them all out of our house and cut ties with those hypocrites. I realized then that I could only rely on myself. Despite their discouragement, I managed to join the Zhao family martial academy using a small reward from the noble woman. For 2 months, I pushed my body to its absolute limit. While others mocked me for my poor talent and lacked the nutrition to keep going, I never stopped. I watched as other students quit or even died from overtraining. People like Sun Ping laughed at my effort, and even the genius students like Lin Shu looked down on me. But as the deadline approached, my persistence paid off. I felt my strength shift and my spirit harmonize. My hands began to glow with a permanent red light, proving that I had finally entered the path of martial arts. I proved that even an earthworm can become a dragon if he works hard enough. Now, I am no longer just a servant. I am a martial artist. I managed to join the Zhao family martial academy using silver rewards from my service to the 4th madam. My mother was terrified I had stolen the money, but once she knew the truth, she supported me. She even gave me a tiny bit of her own hidden savings, urging me to eat better for my training. Seeing her sacrifice, eating thin porridge while giving me the best, made me promise to one day rescue her from this life of servitude. My father, however, remained a bitter, drunk man. He constantly mocked my dreams, telling me I was born to be a servant and that even the wealthy young masters of the Li family couldn't master martial arts. I didn't argue. I simply channeled that anger into focus. I knew I was a traveler from another world, and I had a unique advantage, a panel that guaranteed results for every bit of effort I exerted. Life at the academy was a lonely struggle. My talent was considered poor by Master Zhao and the senior disciples. They looked at me like a country boy chasing dreams, who would likely be kicked out after the 2-month trial. Even the other new students were petty. One named Sun Ping grew jealous simply because I arrived earlier than him, fearing I would steal the master's attention or get closer to our talented senior sister, Wei Yu. The physical toll was heavy. Because I couldn't afford expensive tonics and lacked proper food, my progress was slow, only 2 points a day. I had to rest frequently just to keep going. While geniuses like Lin Shu were praised for their quick understanding, I remained invisible. But I didn't care about their opinions. I followed a strict plan, arriving at dawn and striking the wooden dummies until my body ached. I am determined to prove everyone wrong. They see a weakling, but I see my progress bars slowly climbing. It isn't about natural talent for me. It is about sheer, unyielding work. I will hit that until I break through, because in this world, martial power is the only way to truly own my life and protect my mother. I have become the most hard-working student at the academy, even taking that title from senior sister Wei Yu. While the senior disciples recognize my persistence, they still pity me because they believe my poor talent and lack of money for tonics make success impossible. People look at me and feel better about their own struggles, thinking that if someone as diligent as me can't make it, then they shouldn't feel bad about their own failures. The genius, Lin Shu, has already entered the martial path in just 1 month, receiving rewards and praise from Master Zhao. His success has made him proud, and he looks down on me, even though the master uses my hard work as an example to lecture him. Other students, like Sun Ping, mock me to feel better about themselves. They think I'm just a stubborn mule wasting my time. I ignore their whispers. My secret panel shows me that I am making steady progress every single day. Even though I am often hungry and exhausted from eating only coarse grains, I hit the wooden dummies until my arms are bruised and my hands are swollen. I have a strict plan, and I know that in 23 days, I will master the basics. I still have plenty of time before the 2-month deadline. My mother is still worried. She brought me half a roasted chicken she had hidden, urging me to eat, and even suggesting I give up and become a servant for the Li family while there are openings. To give her hope, I lied and told her the teacher thinks I can succeed. Seeing her face light up with joy made me even more determined. When the other students get discouraged by Lin Shu's fast progress, I keep my head down. I tell myself that the result isn't decided until the very end. I don't care if they see me as an earthworm. I am going to keep striking until I prove I can be a dragon. I am only a few points away from the beginner level, and I will not stop until I reach it. I was determined to prove that hard work could bridge the gap between a dragon and an earthworm. As the days passed, the academy grew quiet. Many students realized they lacked the talent or the money for expensive medicines and simply gave up. The atmosphere turned grim when one student, who had pushed himself too hard without proper nutrition, collapsed and died right on the training grounds. Panic set in, and out of 40 newcomers, only 7 of us remained. The senior disciples didn't take us seriously. They even started betting on who would quit next. They saw me as a stubborn mule with no hope, while others like Sun Ping felt better about their own failures just by watching me struggle. I ignored their mockery. My special panel showed I was close, just a few points away from success. My only real obstacle was my poor diet, which left me exhausted after only half a day of training. With only 3 days left before the deadline, my friend Su Yuan was ready to accept defeat. He stood by me, talking about giving up, but I didn't stop. I channeled every bit of my remaining strength into my strikes. Suddenly, a heavy landed on the wooden with a sound like a whip cracking. The golden light of my panel flashed. I had reached the beginner level. My hands were bruised and scratched, but they glowed with a bright, steady red light that didn't fade. Su Yuan stared at me in total shock, realizing that I had actually done it. My legs felt stronger, my stance was finally stable, and my spirit was in harmony with my strength. Su Yuan began to shout my success to the entire courtyard. The news hit the academy like a lightning bolt. Sun Ping's face twisted with pure hatred and jealousy. He couldn't stand that a nobody like me had surpassed him. Even the senior disciples and the betting Wong were frozen in disbelief. By relying purely on my own effort, I had officially entered the path of martial arts, earning a level of respect that most commoners could only dream of. When Wong heard Wei Yu's words, his face darkened. He never expected that, after all this time, Wang Sheng would still manage to succeed. Could that really mean Wang Sheng didn't last until the end? Wong didn't want to admit it. But Wei Yu was well-liked by many fellow disciples and was about to reach the next level of strength, becoming a true expert. In the end, under Wei Yu's cold tone, Wong had no choice but to admit defeat and hand over 10 taels of silver. That Wang Sheng is such a nuisance. If he could succeed, he should have done it earlier instead of tricking me at the last moment. This isn't over. Wong didn't dare to be angry at Wei Yu, but deep inside, he grew to hate and resent Wang Sheng. Although Wang Sheng had now entered the martial path and become his junior brother, he was still different from Lin Shu. Lin Shu was a genius, and Zhao Jie valued him greatly. Wong was eager to win him over, but Wang Sheng had barely managed to pass the entrance test in the final days. His talent was clearly limited, and his future achievements would likely be small. That was why Wong resented Wang Sheng and wanted to find a chance to vent his anger on him, ideally by earning back the 10 taels of silver he had lost. Impossible, impossible. He really entered the martial path. Sun Ping was still in shock, muttering to himself. He had always looked down on people like Wang Sheng, who practiced tirelessly despite having poor natural talent. But now Wang Sheng had succeeded, while he himself had not. To his pride was hard to bear. At that moment, Zhao Jie, hearing the commotion, came out. After confirming that Wang Sheng had indeed entered the martial path, he immediately announced that Wang Sheng would become the 87th official disciple of the Zhao family martial academy. Reward him with 10 taels of silver and 2 red blood pills. My disciple Wang Sheng, though you entered later than others, now that you have stepped onto the martial path, you must understand that the world is no longer the same. From now on, train diligently and never bring shame to the Zhao family. Zhao Jie spoke loudly before everyone. Yes, master. I will remember your words and never forget them. Wang Sheng knelt, bowed, and offered tea. The simple ceremony marked the completion of his apprenticeship. Zhao Jie's gift to his new disciple was 10 taels of silver and 2 red blood pills, less than what Lin Shu had received, since Wang Sheng had joined nearly a month later. You all should take your senior brother Wang Sheng as an example and keep working hard, Zhao Jie said casually to Su Yuan, Sun Ping, and the others before leading Wang Sheng into the inner courtyard. After Zhao Jie left, the outer courtyard became lively again. Many official disciples were talking about Wang Sheng, their words filled with emotion. It was rare for someone to enter the martial path in the final days of training, perhaps 1 or 2 people a year at most. Wang Sheng, senior brother. He's really our senior brother now. Jealousy burned fiercely in Sun Ping's heart, almost consuming him. He had better natural talent than Wang Sheng. How could this happen? Then someone's words hit him like a bucket of cold water. We can still call him senior brother for now, but once our time here ends and the academy asks us to leave, we might not even have the right to call him that anymore. A new disciple sighed as he spoke. Sun Ping stood frozen, his mind completely blank. Junior brother Su, this is for you. Wei Yu flicked her fingers and tossed a red blood pill into Su Yuan's hand. Senior sister, what is this for? Su Yuan asked in surprise and nervousness. He had heard from other senior brothers that the blood pill was a special medicine for martial artists who had reached the bright strength stage. It could greatly strengthen one's energy and vitality, making it very useful, but also very expensive, worth 5 taels of silver each. 5 taels of silver could buy 3 or 4,000 buns, enough to feed an ordinary family for half a year, yet it could only buy 1 thumb-sized blood pill. You earned it, Wei Yu said simply, then turned and walked straight into the inner courtyard. Wei Yu was known for her fairness in gambling. She accepted both victory and defeat, and always settled her bets clearly. Su Yuan looked down at the round red pill in his hand, swallowed hard, and after hesitating for a long time, finally put it away. He didn't believe 1 pill could help him enter the martial path. It would be better to sell it for money to support his family. Zhao Family Martial Hall. Inner courtyard. The inner courtyard looked more like an ordinary home. A large, leafy tree stood on the left, with a stone table and chairs beneath it. The ground was paved with stone slabs arranged in a cross pattern. In the open spaces, flowers and vegetables were planted. Zhao Jie led Wang Sheng across the stone path, through the courtyard, and into a main hall. As soon as Zhao Jie sat down, a graceful woman in a light blue robe came over, carrying 2 cups of tea. Greetings, madam, Wang Sheng said respectfully, lowering his head. He noticed her elegant movements and graceful figure, but kept his expression polite. You two talk, the beautiful woman, Madame Liang, said with a gentle smile before leaving. She was Zhao Jie's second wife. Zhao Jie slowly took a sip of tea. Seeing that Wang Sheng still stood respectfully, he finally spoke. Wang Sheng, you've done well. Thank you, master. It's all because of your guidance that I could begin my martial training, Wang Sheng replied. Zhao Jie nodded. To be honest, under normal circumstances, I would value a disciple like you very much. You have the look of someone who will achieve great things later in life. After saying that, he took another sip of tea. Wang Sheng's heart sank. From the way his master spoke, he could tell there was a but coming. He didn't understand what Zhao Jie meant. But, you know that times are unstable. The Nanling prefecture is suffering from drought and locusts, and some people have started a rebellion. The northern Han kingdom is preparing to march south against our Jing kingdom. Evil forces are rising again in the martial world, and tragic massacres happen from time to time. Our Jiangling prefecture lies in the middle of all this, and we could face disaster at any moment. As your teacher, I must quickly train a group of martial experts to assist me. Your senior brother, Lin Shu, has an exceptional natural talent. I had planned not to take any more students and to focus on teaching him, helping him master the inner strength techniques as soon as possible. But your arrival was unexpected. After you joined, I had to divide some of the resources originally meant for Lin Shu and give a portion to you. Of course, as your teacher, I must be fair. But you also know that Lin Shu's talent is much greater than yours. So, do you wish to compete with him for these resources? Zhao Jie spoke calmly. Wang Sheng was not a naive boy. He immediately understood Zhao Jie's real intention. Zhao Jie didn't want to give him any training resources, but he also didn't want to damage his reputation by appearing unfair. So, Zhao Jie's words were meant to make Wang Sheng give up on his own. I will compete. Wang Sheng's tone was respectful but firm. If he didn't fight for it now, when chaos came, would he just wait helplessly for death? With a thud, Wang Sheng knelt down and bowed deeply. Master, I am devoted to martial arts and will never give up. Please give me a chance. I will repay your kindness with all my heart. Wang Sheng saw through Zhao Jie's pride. Zhao Jie could have simply refused him, but he feared losing face. Since that was the case, Wang Sheng decided to force him into a position where he couldn't back down. Zhao Jie frowned and thought for a moment before saying, I see that your steps are steady and strong. It seems you've already mastered the basic stone stance technique. To have mastered both stance and palm techniques at the beginner level is quite rare. Just as Zhao Jie began to think that Wang Sheng wasn't so bad after all and decided to give him some training resources, a voice suddenly came from the side room. Wang Sheng, are you really going to compete with me? Lin Shu walked out of the side room with a serious face. It turned out he had been secretly listening there all along. Wang Sheng's expression didn't change as he calmly said, if a warrior doesn't compete, how can he be called a warrior? In troubled times, if one doesn't fight, how can one survive? Zhao Jie's eyes lit up. He hadn't expected Wang Sheng to say something so interesting. Lin Shu's face grew darker, but since his master Zhao Jie was present, he couldn't act too harshly. Otherwise, it would make him seem arrogant and leave a bad impression. After thinking for a moment, Lin Shu said, how about this, junior brother Wong? I know you're worried about the chaos that may come and want to learn martial arts for protection. Let's do this instead. Use all the resources on me first so I can break through to the dark strength stage. Then I can protect you and help you grow stronger later. What do you think? After all, I have superior talent, while you only have an inferior one. Lin Shu emphasized the last sentence, hoping his master Zhao Jie would understand his point. What was the use of training someone with poor talent? Shouldn't the focus be on nurturing a true genius like him? Zhao Jie seemed thoughtful, but said nothing. At that moment, Wang Sheng looked as if he had just heard a ridiculous joke. His face twitched slightly, showing his frustration. First one breaks through, then helps the other? One gets stronger first, then helps the other get stronger? Impossible. These are my resources. I won't give up a single bit. Master, please make the decision. Wang Sheng firmly rejected Lin Shu's proposal, clearly angry. Lin Shu was slightly surprised to see Wang Sheng so furious. He hadn't said anything that insulting, had he? Oh, Zhao Jie sighed softly. Very well. Since Wang Sheng is unwilling, we'll follow the usual rules. Although Lin Shu had good talent, Zhao Jie wouldn't risk his reputation for bullying a disciple just for a few resources. As for the coming chaos, when it truly arrived, would one or two more martial artists really change anything? Wang Sheng, from today onward, you are my disciple. Each month, you will receive 5 taels of silver and 1 red blood pill. If you advance to the bright strength or dark strength stages, you will receive greater rewards. Yes, thank you, master. Wang Sheng knelt and gave thanks. He had secured resources worth 10 taels each month, 120 taels a year. Wang Sheng's parents worked as servants in the Li family, earning only 20 or 30 taels of silver a year. That was the pay of a martial artist, so it was no wonder so many people wanted to learn martial arts. When Lin Shu saw this, his face grew longer than a donkey's, but he didn't dare argue with his master. Still, Lin Shu surely held a grudge against Wang Sheng in his heart. After that, Wang Sheng received more instructions from Zhao Jie, along with careful guidance on the great monument-breaking hand. This was the first time since becoming his disciple that Zhao Jie had taught him so seriously. In just half a day, Wang Sheng gained a lot. On his training panel, the great monument-breaking hand improved from beginner 1/300 to beginner 7/300. Half a day of teaching was worth 3 days of Wang Sheng's own practice. When Wang Sheng came out, the sky was already dark. Only a few students remained in the outer courtyard. Congratulations, junior brother Wang, said Li Hu kindly, smiling and bowing slightly when he saw Wang Sheng come out from the inner courtyard. Thanks to your help, senior brother, I could reach this point, Wang Sheng replied, bowing in return. The other formal disciples ignored Wang Sheng and continued their own training. Although Zhao Jie had more than 80 formal disciples, nearly half of them had already graduated. Some joined Zhao Jie's business ventures, while others took well-paid jobs. Even after leaving, they would still obey Zhao Jie's orders without hesitation. After all, Zhao Jie was not only their master, but also a powerful martial artist, well known throughout Erzhui City. Besides, those who didn't respect their teacher would not be welcomed anywhere. The remaining half of the disciples stayed in the martial academy to continue their training. Some were already qualified to graduate, but if they were not short of money, they chose to keep practicing full-time. A dozen or so disciples were still at the beginner level or had just reached the stage of bright strength, still far from graduation. That day, Wang Sheng didn't stay to train until the end. He hurried home instead. In a side room of the Li residence, when Madame Han learned that Wang Sheng had entered the martial path and become a formal disciple, she burst into tears and laughter, hugging him tightly and shouting, "My son is a genius. My son must be a heavenly warrior reborn." Wang Sheng felt a bit embarrassed, but didn't want to dampen her excitement. Several servants from the Li family who lived nearby heard the noise and quickly gathered around. When they learned that Wang Sheng had entered the martial path and become an official student of the martial academy, they all widened their eyes in shock. Then, one after another, they bowed and offered their congratulations. Amazing, truly amazing. The Wang family might really produce a martial champion. I always thought Brother Wang Sheng was special. I knew he'd achieve something great, and today proves it. Sister Han, when you become successful, please don't forget about us. Brother Sheng, here's a fish left over from the kitchen. Take it, take it. The important people in the mansion won't eat it anyway. No matter how envious or jealous the Li family's servants and maids were, none of them dared to offend Madame Han anymore. Every teacher at the martial academy was a person of high status. Their students, though not officials, were treated almost like them, far above ordinary people. Just wearing the martial academy uniform was enough to make common folk step aside in fear. Once a student reached the level of bright strength, they possessed power beyond that of normal humans. So, in the eyes of ordinary people, martial academy students were already symbols of strength. Madame Han gradually calmed down and began to receive the servants and maids who came to offer their congratulations. Sister Han, here's the money I owe you for washing clothes. Please forgive me for my past behavior. A plump woman quietly slipped a small piece of silver into Madame Han's hand. To help support her family, Madame Han often took on laundry work, 5 pieces of clothing for 1 coin. But this woman, who had a bit of authority in the Li household, had refused to pay her before, trying to make her work for free. However, after hearing that Wang Sheng had entered the martial academy, the woman immediately became frightened. Not only did she return the money, but she even added extra. Good, good. As long as you've paid, that's fine. Madame Han was deeply moved. She knew that without her son's achievement, this money would never have been returned. At that moment, the Li family themselves also heard the news that the son of one of their servants had entered the martial path. The next day, at the Li residence, in a side room, Wang De, this is a reward from the master for your talented son, 10 taels of silver and 1 red blood pill. Don't let the master's kindness go to waste. Housekeeper Li arrived with a young servant, smiling as he spoke. Thanks to Master Li for his reward. Many thanks to Master Li. Father Wang and Madame Han were surprised that the master had noticed Wang Sheng's progress in martial arts and even rewarded him with so much money. Overwhelmed with gratitude, they knelt and bowed repeatedly toward the main hall to thank Master Li for his kindness. That's not all, said the housekeeper. The master also said that from now on, Wang De doesn't need to carry waste buckets anymore. He will guard the main gate instead. Madame Han, you don't need to wash clothes either. You can help in the kitchen. Seeing how respectful they were, Housekeeper Li stroked his black beard and smiled with satisfaction. Father Wang's eyes lit up. Guarding the gate was much easier than carrying waste, and sometimes there were small tips to earn. Such a good position used to be given only to members of the Li family's extended branch. Madame Han also pressed her lips together, trying to hide her smile. Working in the kitchen meant better food, and sometimes she could bring a bit of meat home for her son, Sheng. After expressing their gratitude again and again, they watched Housekeeper Li leave, their faces still full of joy. A good life was finally coming. Both Father Wong and Madame Han began to imagine their brighter future. "What about this silver?" Madame Han asked carefully, glancing at her cheerful husband. Father Wong looked down at the tin-tail silver ingot in his hand. The more he looked, the happier he felt, and the harder it was to let go. He had never held so much money at once in his entire life. 10 taels of silver, enough for him to live comfortably for half a year. Suddenly, he bit the silver ingot, then released it and said with satisfaction, "It's real. Give it to the boy." After saying that, he tossed the ingot onto the table and hurried out. Madame Han was delighted to hear this. After all, the silver was meant for Shang, and she had worried that Wangda might keep it for himself. Still, she was puzzled. She had heard of people biting gold to test it, but never silver. But when she looked at the ingot on the table, she froze. The once full tin-tail ingot now had a small piece bitten off, with clear teeth marks left behind. About 9 taels remained. "This greedy man," she muttered. Han laughed and scolded lightly. On the other side, after reading out Master Li's rewards and leaving the side room, Steward Li's smiling face quickly turned dark once he was alone. A cold glint flashed in his eyes. Master Li had already ordered him to investigate. That Wong Sheng from the Wong family was barely a beginner in martial arts, with poor talent. At best, he might one day reach the level of a bright strength fighter. A fighter of that level was about the same as one of the Li family's guards. Although Master Li treated such fighters with respect, their status was still far below that of a wealthy household. That was why Master Li didn't meet Wong Sheng in person. He only sent his steward to deliver gifts, showing the Li family's generosity. However, while Master Li didn't care much, Steward Li did. If Wong Sheng had real talent and could one day reach the dark strength level, then both Steward Li and Master Li would have to sincerely congratulate him and never dare to offend him. The Li family wouldn't be able to handle someone that powerful. Steward Li would even have to kneel and beg Wong Sheng's forgiveness for his past mistreatment. But since Wong Sheng's future seemed limited, Steward Li saw things differently. With such poor talent, he wasn't worth flattering. Still, to prevent Wong Sheng or his family from seeking revenge later, Steward Li knew he had to take precautions. Although he shared the Li surname, he wasn't related to the Li family by blood. Having seen much deceit in his life, Steward Li decided to act first. Just a mere beginner, he sneered to himself. Even if he reaches bright strength, I, Li Yuchong, can still deal with him. As long as Wong Sheng met an early end, he would be safe. The only risk was the Zhao Martial Academy. If Zhao Ironhand from the Zhao family discovered his scheme, not only Steward Li, but the entire Li household would face disaster. "I'll have to plan this carefully," he muttered. "And the person who acts must not be from this city. Someone from farther away will do." Li Yuchong whispered to himself. At the Zhao Martial Academy, the sky was gray that day. A cold wind blew, making the few remaining new students, Sun Ping, Su Yuwen, and the others who still hadn't entered the martial path, shiver. Their hearts were heavy with despair, feeling as if there was no way forward. Phew! Wong Sheng let out a deep breath, his hands moving like steel whips as he struck the wooden training again and again. A faint flush appeared on his face, and sweat covered his body. After taking the red blood pill, the medicine's power surged through him. He no longer felt the cold wind. Instead, it seemed refreshing and invigorating. He thought the breeze came at just the right time. The red blood pill truly had great effects. In just half a day, Wong Sheng's skill in the Great Monument Splitting Hand had improved by 2 points. It's a pity that asking Master Zhao for advice again didn't help as much as the first time. Still, this red blood pill is amazing. If I take one every 2 days, my progress doubles each day. Feeling the steady flow of energy within him, Wong Sheng grew excited. With the help of medicine and money, the time he needed to reach the minor achievement stage and become a true martial artist might be even shorter than the time it took him to begin his training. Reaching the beginner level didn't just mean learning the basics of a martial art. It meant mastering both form and spirit, gaining real combat power, and being able to handle several opponents at once. The minor achievement stage required cultivating inner strength and learning new techniques to increase one's power. When I reached the beginner level, I was rewarded with 10 taels of silver and 2 red blood pills. My monthly pay is 5 taels and 1 pill. Even if I exchange all my silver for more pills, it would only support 12 days of training. Being a martial artist still costs a lot. I need to find a way to earn more money soon. Wang Xing thought to himself. The Great Jing Empire was unstable. Based on his knowledge from his previous life, this clearly looked like the end of a dynasty. He had to make money quickly and grow stronger, hoping to survive the coming chaos and not end up as a helpless commoner. As dusk approached, Wang Xing opened his internal data panel. Great Monument Splitting Hand had advanced from beginner 7/300 to beginner 11/300. Steadfast Stone Stance had reached beginner 5/300. Several new disciples, unable to focus, had already left early. Today, Wang Xing didn't train until the end either. After Sun Ping left absent-mindedly, he also finished his practice and left the martial academy. Still a useless one. Can't even last after reaching the beginner level, Fang Mingguang sneered coldly. He was still thinking about the 10 taels of silver he had lost and how he could make Wang Xing pay it back. The others, like Wei Yu and Li Hu, frowned slightly, but they had no duty to urge Wang Xing to keep training. The sky grew dark. Layers of shadow covered the ancient city. A cold wind blew through the streets, making many passers-by pull their clothes tighter. Wang Xing leaned against the wall at the corner of a narrow alley, checking his gear. A sharp dagger, 3 packets of lime powder scraped from a wealthy family's wall, and a pouch of medicine to stop bleeding. With his current strength, he could easily defeat several ordinary people. But to be safe, Wang Xing decided to give his full effort, like a lion hunting a rabbit. Martial arts, after all, were only a last resort. Tap! Footsteps echoed in the alley, slowly approaching the corner. The old stone pavement was wet, making the single set of footsteps sound even clearer, almost calm. Suddenly, the sound stopped. I'm being silly. Why would I think it's strange that it's so quiet here? Sun Ping's self-mocking voice broke the silence. Then the footsteps resumed. This time, without hesitation, he turned the corner, stepping into the next alley. Whoosh! All at once, a cloud of white powder burst toward him. Ah! My eyes! Sun Ping cried out in shock, covering his face. Wang Xing stepped forward, muscles tensing as he drove his dagger straight into Sun Ping's chest. Sun Ping trembled in pain, blood staining his clothes. Help! Please, don't! He screamed, before collapsing heavily into the puddled ground. Wang Xing pressed his foot on Sun Ping's head, stopping his struggling and forcing him to listen. Sun Ping, it's me, Wang Xing. I came to end this. If Sun Ping didn't know who had come for him, Wang Xing's heart would not be at peace. Now that he had strength, he would not let such a cruel man live. Wang Xing, you. Sun Ping's face twisted with hatred and fear. He never imagined that Wang Xing, once dismissed as weak and untalented, would dare to fight back, dare to kill him. Go die with peace. I will sell your wife and daughter. Before he finished shouting, Wang Xing stepped on his mouth with a kick. Soon after, Sun Ping, struggling, stopped moving. Blood from his chest had been flowing more and more. Wang Xing pulled out his dagger and stabbed him several more times in the heart and head, then took a few coins from his body before leaving. The next day, news of Sun Ping's death spread, but it didn't cause much trouble. Sun Ping was a new disciple about to leave the martial arts academy, and his death was ignored by Zhao Jiguan. The officials only sent a few guards to handle it casually. As long as it wasn't a big murder case, losing a few people in Ershui City didn't matter. It wouldn't be called Ershui City otherwise. However, when Su Yuan heard about Sun Ping's death, he looked at Wang Xing with a hint of fear. He had wanted to ask Wang Xing to teach him martial arts, but now he changed his mind. The other new disciples also gave up on the last day. So, after 2 months of training at Zhao Family Martial Arts School, only 2 new disciples managed to start practicing martial arts. Because of the unstable political situation, rebellions in neighboring counties, foreign invasions, Zhao Jiguan decided to buy more grain and focus on training disciples. They temporarily stopped accepting new students. Days passed. With the silver and red blood pills he had, Wang Xing's cultivation advanced rapidly. In just over half a month, his Great Falling Stone technique reached the entry level, 96/300. If everything went smoothly, with enough pills, in just over a month, Wang Xing could become a bright strength warrior, surpassing more than 10 senior brothers still at the entry stage. In the martial arts academy, someone had entered martial arts last year, but this year, no one had achieved bright strength. Bright strength, dark strength, transforming strength. These are called the three major hurdles. Each is difficult. One hurdle is hard to pass, and all three are even harder. So, even if someone was just one step away from mastering a secret technique and could achieve bright strength after crossing that step, this bottleneck could trap them for months or even years. But for Wong Sheng, there was no such obstacle. As long as he kept practicing hard, he could overcome any martial arts challenge. At the Li residence, in the room of the fourth madam, red silk curtains billowed like clouds, and gentle voices from the bed reached a young maid nearby, making her feel hot all over. The young maid couldn't understand how the fourth madam and Wong Sheng could sit still and then suddenly stand up. After a while, Wong Sheng finally came out of the red silk tent holding a small silver ingot and put on his clothes. Young master really is getting better and better. Practicing martial arts makes you stronger. I truly feel it. Young master, come back in 2 days. The fourth madam rolled her eyes and said. Wong Sheng's mouth twitched, and he silently cursed. If this fourth madam was always serious and tough, Wong Sheng, being young and energetic, wouldn't be afraid after practicing martial arts. But she, surprisingly, used that thing. No matter how tough, even a steel man couldn't withstand it. No, madam. My master will check my progress in a few days. Let's wait until after this month, Wong Sheng said thoughtfully. After speaking, he left directly. The fourth madam remained silent and didn't try to stop him, until the young maid quietly left to fetch water. Only then did the fourth madam sit up, looking very proud and striking. This little guy's temperament has become calmer. I like him more and more. Unfortunately, the more I like him, the more I want to eat him. I look forward to the day he becomes a bright force, and I want him to see the true art of yin and yang. But with his talent, it might take a year or two. I'm afraid I won't be able to wait. The sect leader might rebel at any time, so I hope it's later. The fourth madam raised her delicate finger, licking her lips. Her enchanting face under the red silk tent looked even more strange and mysterious. Early morning, Zhao Family Martial Arts School. Wong Sheng, go fill that water jar. Just as Wong Sheng was fully focused on practicing the great falling stone technique, someone suddenly slapped his shoulder hard, almost making him lose his breath. Wong Sheng looked at the person, Lin Shu, an older disciple who had been there for over a year but hadn't yet awakened his bright force. Did the master say that? Wong Sheng asked. Why? Can't senior brother ask junior brother for help with some chores? Or do you think once you're a disciple, you can ignore your senior brothers and sisters? Lin Shu was annoyed to see Wong Sheng, a new disciple, not listening and asked sharply. There was a rule in Zhao sect. New disciples didn't have to do any chores. But students who have been practicing for over a year without gaining clear progress and still want to stay at the martial arts academy need to do some chores around the yard. Lin Shu's actions clearly show he is bullying Wong Sheng and that he has noticed Wong Sheng's limited potential in the future. Suddenly, Wong Sheng turned his head and saw Lin Shu standing at the entrance of the inner courtyard, watching the scene with interest. Lin Shu also didn't hide his intentions and nodded at Lin Shu with a smile. It seems Lin Shu's revenge has arrived, Wong Sheng thought. In the martial arts academy, students usually don't easily offend others because one day they might suddenly improve their skills and become successful. Also, since everyone is human, if pushed too far, their power levels are similar, and fights can end in a one-for-one exchange. Lin Shu dares to stand out because Lin Shu has probably prepared for this for some time and has paid a significant price and made promises. Actually, my junior brother just had a small insight into martial arts and wanted to ask senior brother for advice. It won't take long to fetch water afterward, Wong Sheng said. He had already noticed that these senior students were focused on practicing the great falling stone hand to break through to the bright energy stage, but neglected the stone immersion posture, which made their foundation unstable. With you, who just joined less than a month ago, daring to challenge me, Lin Shu was genuinely amused, with a teasing look in his eyes. Not even able to endure a little humiliation and losing your temper. That's why Wong Sheng isn't very promising, someone commented. It seems we overestimated Wong Sheng. He doesn't even know who he is at the start of his martial journey. Others around nodded in agreement. On a stone-paved field, Wang Sheng and Meng Su stood facing each other. The surrounding formal disciples stepped back to give space for their duel. Since you're here to spar, let's keep it brief. I'll be the referee. Do you have any objections? Li Hu looked at Wei Yu, who showed no intention of stepping forward, and then spoke. Of course, we follow senior brother's lead. Meng Su smiled at Li Hu, trying to flatter him. Thank you, senior brother. Wang Sheng bowed respectfully. Li Hu nodded. I said, keep it short, Li Hu emphasized. Junior brother Meng, Wang just started practicing recently. Be moderate and don't make the master angry, Li Hu said seriously, focusing on Meng Su. Zhao Jie generally dislikes internal disputes among disciples. Therefore, Lin Shu, as Zhao Jie's favored student, would not take action against Wang Sheng himself to please the master. Meng Su heard this, and a flash of fear crossed his eyes. If Zhao Jie found out, he would be punished severely or even expelled. But Lin Shu gave him a big promise, and he had a note with him. Meng Su decided he had to fight one last time. All right, let's start. Anyone who can't hold on can just admit defeat, Li Hu said. Meng Su's smile faded, and his expression became serious. He lowered his shoulders and elbows, and his fists opened naturally, showing a powerful, breaking stone aura. With Meng Su's good talent, he has already practiced the great falling stone fist thoroughly. Sadly, he hasn't yet understood the small success stage to generate true strength and become clear energy. A young man in white martial clothes with long hair shook his head and said with some emotion, Hey, even if he hasn't reached clear energy, with his fighting stance, defeating a beginner is easy. A woman with a high nose and a sharp look smiled faintly. Well, maybe it's a bit different. Look at this, a man dressed in a colorful robe said with some interest. Everyone looked over. Wang Sheng sat firmly, legs tight and strong, as if rooted to the ground. A perfect, heavy stone post stance appeared before everyone. Wang Sheng's stance was very precise. When he stood up, it looked like a giant stone with an unstoppable presence. Is this the entry level of the heavy stone post? The three experienced martial artists who spoke earlier immediately saw Wang Sheng's skill. Their eyes showed surprise. Before the clear energy was born, everyone focused on the great falling stone fist, and practicing stance was just for rest. No one expected Wang Sheng to also master stance practice. Although the heavy stone post is a basic martial art, learning another martial art at the same time is always helpful, especially since stance training makes the stance stable, which matches well with the advanced falling stone fist. Li Hu, Wei Yu, and others also noticed this. They felt something but didn't say much. Lin Shu sensed something was wrong. He only practiced the great falling stone fist and hadn't learned stance. Wang, little brother, do you really think you're just practicing martial arts with me? And now you're showing off stance practice too? You started training later than I did, and your martial skills and strength are not as good as mine. Why do you think you can fight me? Meng Su didn't care much about stance practice and sneered when Wang Sheng took out the breaking stone stance. In the next moment, Meng Su stepped forward half a step, his right fist like a heavy hammer smashing out, with wind-breaking sound rushing straight at Wang Sheng's chest. This was his signature move, the great falling monument hand, forcefully splitting mountains. Do you know what 1 + 1 is? Greater than 2, Wang Sheng said calmly, his eyes as peaceful as a lake. He didn't dodge or block. His left arm crossed to block, while his left fist sank down, smashing toward Meng Su's waist with a variation of the monument breaker, cutting through 3 sections. Meng Su didn't expect that after practicing hard for over a year and using all his strength, his punch wouldn't make Wang Sheng retreat even half a step. Instead, he could only hurriedly respond to Wang Sheng's attack. Bang! Meng Su was knocked back 2 steps by Wang Sheng's surprise punch to his waist. You're asking for trouble. Meng Su's face immediately turned red. He, an experienced disciple, was forced back at the very start by this newcomer. Bang bang bang. Like a fierce tiger descending the mountain, Meng Su charged at Wang Sheng. He used moves like the broken monument style, cracked ground style, mountain push style, and others, all rushing toward Wang Sheng. Wang Sheng remained calm and unhurried. Although Meng Su was stronger in strength, his stance was unstable, and he could only unleash about 60 to 70% of his power at most. In contrast, Wang Sheng combined his movements, focused his energy in one place, and responded to Meng Su's attacks with ease. In a blink, they had exchanged dozens of moves. Every punch was fierce and straightforward, with no fancy tricks. They were both taught by the same master, practicing the same martial art. If both were equally skilled, it would be hard to break each other's defenses. They could only fight to stall. This Ming Su is quite sneaky, hitting vital points with every move, a man in a colorful long robe said with a smile. He's also pretty stupid. No wonder he hasn't gained any real strength after so long, a sharp-featured woman sneered. Exactly. Wong's junior brother hasn't even provoked him much, and he's already gone crazy with his attacks. Now he probably doesn't have enough energy, the man in the colorful robe chuckled. At this moment, Wang Xing noticed that Meng Su's attack frequency and strength were starting to decline, so he immediately countered. Wang Sheng sat firmly on his horse, gathering his strength and spirit into a single punch. You're talking nonsense, Meng Su shouted angrily, throwing a powerful strike similar to breaking a monument. Boom. When their fists collided, Meng Su cried out in pain, his hand instantly shattered and useless, turning into a claw. Wang Sheng felt some pain too, but he kept most of his strength and felt even more eager to fight. Senior brother Meng, your earth-shattering strike is not enough. Your stance is too weak, Wang Sheng said, then kicked Meng Su so hard that his lower body was thrown open. You lowly talent. What right do you have to scold me? Meng Su yelled angrily. He was the senior brother, but this new disciple was treating him like a student, teaching him a lesson. This was a clear-faced slap in front of everyone, showing his lack of skill and weakness. This is the mountain pressing technique. Wang Sheng had already moved close when Meng Su's stance was wide open, and he used his elbow to strike the ribs above Meng Su's stomach. Meng Su's face twisted in pain, and he let out a sharp cry. Then Wang Sheng threw him forcefully onto his back, making him fall from above straight down. Junior brother Wong, Li Hu, who was watching, wasn't worried about Meng Su getting hurt, but he didn't expect that this old disciple would be so easily beaten by the new disciple. The other formal disciples, like Wei Yu, looked at Wang Sheng with more respect. At first, they didn't take this barely accepted disciple seriously, even thinking Wang Sheng was just pretending to be strong. But now, Wang Sheng's fierce attitude made them respect him. Lin Shu's expression was cold and unhappy. He turned and walked into the inner courtyard. Phew! Wang Sheng exhaled, looking at Meng Su curled up like a shrimp, feeling a bit regretful. He had only injured him this much. There was no chance to strike again. But this real fight not only earned respect, it also helped Wang Sheng understand the great falling stone technique better. His progress bar suddenly jumped over 100 points, reaching entry level, 118 out of 300. It seemed that besides taking medicine, actual combat could speed up learning martial arts. But fighting also had risks. If Wang Sheng had lost this time, he might have been crippled or lost a limb. If Meng Su's condition is not treated well, he might become paralyzed in the future. Meng Su was badly injured. Wang Sheng's sudden fall from the mountain could even cause him to become partially paralyzed. This could not be hidden. When Zhao Jie found out, he was furious and very angry. However, when he learned that Wang Sheng, a new disciple, had beaten Meng Su so badly, and that it was a one-on-one fight in front of many people, with no deception involved, he was shocked and hesitant. He originally wanted to punish the person who started the fight severely. After all, he did not like internal conflicts. But Wang Sheng performed very well, and since Meng Su had deliberately caused trouble and assigned his chores to Wang Sheng, Zhao Jie hesitated. He decided to give Wang Sheng a warning. If he fought again within the sect, he would be expelled. Lin Shu was very angry when he learned that Wang Sheng had not been punished much. All his fellow disciples knew he did not get along with Wang Sheng. If he couldn't suppress Wang Sheng, he would also be looked down upon by the other senior brothers. These senior disciples are useless. I have to take action myself. In half a year, no, at most 4 months, I will probably develop enough strength. Then I will personally crush his throat. After making this decision, Lin Shu worked even harder and trained desperately. The next day, Wang Sheng was practicing in the courtyard. Suddenly, a large group of people burst into the outer yard. They were all dressed in fine silk and satin, clearly wealthy or noble. Stand on both sides. Zhao Feiping, the legitimate son of Zhao Shi, shouted loudly. Wang Sheng, Wei Yu, and other official disciples immediately stood with their hands behind their backs, lining up on both sides. Ha ha ha, Manager Qian, Lu, Steward Qi, and all the young talents. Long time no see. Zhao Jie came out from the inner courtyard, clasped his hands, and smiled. Master Zhao, I hope you are well. Master Zhao, I heard you accepted a genius disciple. We've been eager to meet him for a long time. Master Zhao looks even younger, and his cultivation must have reached the peak. A group of wealthy people also returned the greeting with smiles. Please come in. My Chinya red tea is ready and waiting for you to enjoy. Zhao Jie gestured with his hand. Then we won't be polite. A thin man dressed in silk nodded. A group of people then followed Zhao Jie into the inner courtyard. Disperse. If you don't understand something, ask your senior brothers or sisters. When it's time to go into the inner courtyard, behave well. After saying this, Zhao Feiping immediately entered the inner courtyard. Senior brother Luo, what's going on? Wang Sheng asked, confused. This senior brother Luo Zhongwan, was the man in the green floral robe from yesterday. He seemed to favor Wang Sheng. When he first met him, he gave him 10 taels of silver, showing he wanted to be friends. Besides Luo Zhongwan, some other talented disciples didn't try to pull Wang Sheng into their group, but they also showed him more respect. Oh, junior brother, you just arrived, so you don't know. That's normal. You can see that these people are not ordinary. They all come from well-known wealthy families in Water City. These big families have lots of money and many businesses. They have many places to protect. They already have good relationships with different martial arts schools. Sometimes, they visit these schools to find new talented fighters, both obvious and hidden. If they find talented students, even if they don't join the school, they might still offer money to support them, hoping to gain their favor and build connections. Of course, if you want to practice martial arts, the more money you have, the better. Although my master has some businesses, they can't support so many senior brothers and sisters. These big families only have part-time positions. They come when needed and don't interfere with training. Luo Zhongwen explained the relationship between these wealthy families and the martial arts schools to Wang Sheng, telling him to seize any opportunity he could. Thank you, senior brother, for telling me. Wang Sheng nodded, deep in thought. He now needed more money. The rewards from the 4 madams were barely enough for martial arts training. A red blood pill costs 5 taels of silver, and Wang Sheng could digest one in about 2 days. 2 days' worth of 5 taels of silver, in a month, adds up to 75 taels of silver, which is a lot for wealthy city families. And Wang Sheng had no steady income. Without pills, he could still improve steadily, but his training speed would slow down by half. This made Wang Sheng feel insecure. After a while, Zhao Feiping called Lin Shu to go into the inner courtyard. Soon, news spread from the inner courtyard. Someone offered a high price to appoint Lin Shu to a position. Lin Shu had not yet reached Mingjin, but those people paid him the price for Mingjin disciples in advance, even offering much more, showing they were very optimistic about Lin Shu's future. This news made many people feel envious. Later, Zhao Feiping called out several Mingjin disciples to enter the inner courtyard and demonstrated their skills. Mingjin warriors are considered leaders wherever they go. So, these Mingjin disciples all found positions, though their salaries were sometimes lower than Lin Shu's. Many disciples who had not yet developed their strength looked on with envy. As long as they were Mingjin warriors, they could earn dozens of taels of silver each month. Without buying pills, they could spend their days eating meat and drinking wine without worry. However, these wealthy families had no plans to take in disciples who had not yet developed their strength. Even though Zhao Jie wanted to help Wang Sheng and a few other unusual disciples make connections, they showed little interest. After chatting with Zhao Jie for a while, they took their leave. Disciples like Lin Shu with such little talent are rare. Practitioners need to develop strength and become Mingjin warriors to truly turn their lives around and have a place in this city, Luo Zhongwen sighed. Yes, Wang Sheng nodded. If a person never develops strength for many years, only to find it was all for nothing, they would have little to show for it. For ordinary families, it's almost like being on the brink of bankruptcy. Many older disciples who still hadn't developed their strength looked down, feeling anxious and a little scared. A Mingjin warrior earns dozens of taels of silver each month. But if they can't develop their strength, where will they go? Failing their family's hopes, wasting money. Who wouldn't feel worried and anxious? Wang Sheng also understood that only becoming a Mingjin warrior could solve many problems. With Lin Shu's talent and my financial power, he might really threaten me. Looks like I have to fight hard. Wang Sheng noticed Lin Shu's gaze, filled with strong dislike and malice, and frowned slightly. He also knew he had to make money quickly. As long as he had money, he could develop his strength in just over a month. When that time came, he would take the initiative and secretly kill Lin Shu to settle things. Many disciples, after being stimulated, fought even harder, and the wooden figures they struck made loud banging sounds. Wang Sheng was feeling a bit confused and unfocused. He was thinking about how to solve his money problem. He needed at least 100 taels of silver. Junior brother, are you feeling hurt? Luo Wenjing suddenly asked. Not everyone has the talent like junior brother Lin Shu. All right, I favor you, junior brother. The Luo family is willing to give 10 taels of silver each month to invite you to work part-time. How about that? But the time limit is only half a year. After that, it's over. Luo Zhongwen usually enjoyed reading strange stories and small books, seeing many people who were ordinary as children but became great later. So, after Wang Sheng broke the big stone tablet, learned the heavy stone pile technique, and defeated the senior disciple Meng Su, Luo Zhongwen wanted to hold back and see Wang Sheng's success later. When Wang Sheng heard this, his eyes lit up. He turned his head and looked at Luo Zhongwen with a happy expression. Why? I'm not good at flirting. Wang Sheng's direct gaze made Luo Zhongwen a little nervous, and he quickly stepped back and said, Senior brother, how about this? You give me 60 taels of silver at once. I promise I will develop strength within half a year, Wang Sheng said. You little rascal, Luo Zhongwen was a bit speechless. This kid just keeps climbing higher once he gets a stick. Luo Zhongwen was silent for a while. Seeing that Wang Sheng was serious and not joking, he hesitated for a moment, then finally sighed and said, All right, I'll give you 40 taels first. Thank you, senior brother. Wang Sheng nodded. Luo Zhongwen and he were not related by blood, just a few months of being senior and junior brothers. Giving him 40 taels was already a big risk. After all, 40 taels could support an ordinary family for 4 years. Then, Wang Sheng left the martial arts academy early that day. Using the deed to the old house on Nichio Street, he mortgaged 20 taels of silver at the pawn shop. Next, Wang Sheng borrowed 10 taels of silver from old Master Li. He borrowed 20 taels of silver from Madam C. Finally, Wang Sheng borrowed 30 taels of high-interest loan from a gang called the White Tiger Gang. He had to repay 50 taels in 2 months. After all this, Wang Sheng had collected a total of 120 taels of silver. The reason it far exceeded 100 taels was because, after Wang Sheng came out, he wandered around and realized that the situation was very bad. Before, he had been focused on practicing martial arts and didn't expect that in just a month, the outside world had changed so much. The great drought in Nanling Prefecture had led to a rebellion that could no longer be stopped. The prefecture master was killed, and the rebel army began to take over other major prefectures. Meanwhile, to the north, the Han Kingdom invaded the border. I heard that several battles and dying ended in defeat, and the border was unstable. In the middle, Jiangling Prefecture, where Erzuhui City is located, started preparing troops everywhere. Food prices kept rising, and more beggars starving on the streets appeared. Wang Sheng was worried that before he could reach the bright strength stage, a war disaster might happen. So, when he saw a high-quality red blood pill at the pharmacy and learned that it was more effective than the regular ones, he decided to spend a bit more money to buy the best quality. In Erzuhui City, Baolai Pharmacy, 12 high-quality red blood pills, total cost 120 taels of silver. Plus, we give you 1 regular red blood pill as a gift. Please take it. Okay. Wang Sheng took the pills and hurriedly left. After he left the pharmacy, a calm-looking middle-aged man came out from the back room. How is it? A fat sheep? Although they were in the city, because of the chaos in Nanling Prefecture, many people flooded into Jiangling Prefecture. Some martial artists also came to Erzuhui City, making the security worse and causing more deaths. Some people started to take advantage of the chaos, looting and robbing. The young servant who had just bowed to Wang Sheng now had a faint smile on his face, then shook his head slightly. Judging by the marks on his hands, he should be a disciple of Iron Hand Zhao. I heard that Iron Hand Zhao recently accepted a talented young disciple. Maybe it's him. To offend a harmonization expert just for this silver isn't worth it. The middle-aged man nodded and stepped back. They were only at the hidden chi level and didn't dare to offend a harmonization expert easily. In Dio Street, Wong family ancestral residence. After Wang Sheng took a high-quality red blood pill, he immediately felt a powerful medicinal force surge through his body. It turned into hot currents flowing into his meridians, stimulating his entire meridian system. His face turned red, and he quickly sat upright, practicing standing postures and using the great falling stone hand to release and digest the medicine. Because he had money now, his diet improved significantly. Unlike before, when he went 3 days without proper food, feeling weak and wasting time on boxing practice, now he could recover faster. So, supported by high-quality red blood pills and meat, Wang Sheng's progress in the Great Falling Stone Fist improved rapidly. His training time increased from 4 hours a day to 10 hours a day. In less than 20 days, after consuming 10 top-grade red blood pills, Wang Sheng successfully reached the small achievement stage in the Great Falling Stone Fist, developed internal strength, and officially became a bright energy martial artist. Heaven rewards diligence. Success comes with hard work. Cultivation level. Early bright energy, stone piling skill. Small achievement, 1/1000. Great Falling Stone Fist. Small achievement, 1/1000. A bright energy martial artist not only has much greater strength than ordinary people, but also has sharper senses and faster reactions, easily surpassing normal individuals. Inside the ancestral home, Wang Sheng clenched his fist, feeling the surge of power in his hand, a bright gleam flashing in his eyes. Using his internal energy, his strength increased at least 3 to 4 times. Previously, he could only kill a wolf with 1 punch. Now, he could easily kill a cow with a single punch. That's enough. It's time to settle the matter with Lin Shu, he muttered to himself. His internal energy burst out from within, hidden within his body. As long as he didn't use his internal energy openly or get close enough to his enemy's vital points, no one could tell that Wang Sheng had become a bright energy martial artist. That day, the sky was dark. Lin Shu left the martial arts academy, heading towards the Liu family. Miss Liu likes me, and she's quite good-looking. But I aim to become a master of transforming energy, comparable to my master or other big figures.